Hi everyone, I'm Elina and I'm so happy to see you here on my channel. If this is your first time, make sure to subscribe and hit the bell so you don't miss any of my new videos. I recently finished reading Barbra Streisand's autobiography and let me tell you, it was quite a challenge because the book was 970 pages long. Yes, it's the biggest book I ever read in English and it's absolutely fascinating. I highly recommend it to everyone. But I get it, not everyone has time to read such a massive book. That's why in this video I'm going to share with you 10 life lessons I took away from this incredible story in a short and meaningful way. This year, Barbra Streisand turns 84 years old. She is a legendary singer, actress and director, and trust me, her life experience is like a treasure trove of wisdom that anyone can learn from. Stick around until the end of the video because each lesson is packed with insights you can actually apply in your own life, helping you avoid some of the mistakes and bumps along the way. Love can be found at any age. Barbra Streisand got married at 56 years old. Her husband is actor James Brolin. They got married in 1998, and as of today, they've been together for over 25 years. Think about that for a second. For Hollywood at that time, that's almost unbelievable, and even today, it's pretty rare. This is important because Barbara had lived a full and sometimes complicated personal life before that. Many romances, intense feelings, disappointments, and long searches. It wasn't until later in life that she met someone with whom she could build a stable, peaceful, and lasting relationship. So, what's the key to why it worked out for them? First, they met not from a place of need or lack. She wasn't looking for someone who rescued her. He wasn't looking for a young trophy wife. Both were fully formed, accomplished individuals, each having had a rich life experience. Barbara has said that for the first time in a relationship she felt safe and accepted, not constantly fighting for attention or validation. There is a well-known phrase they both repeat jokingly: "The secret to our marriage? Separate bathrooms." It sounds funny, but it's not only about the room, it's really about respecting boundaries, privacy, personal space, and each other's past. It's not about merging lives completely or control, it's about partnership. James Brolin, he said in interviews that Barbara is an incredibly strong woman and that he never tried to change or shrink her. On the contrary, he embraced her full scale. And Barbara has described him like this: with him, she can truly be herself. He doesn't compete with her. She doesn't have to prove anything when she's with him. And I think this is the main reason it works for them. Not because they're some perfect couple. They just met at the right inner age, even if their biological age was long past 30.
I walked by him, touched his hair, and said, "Who up your hair?" Because that was the truth.
Yes.
And I didn't, what else was I going to say? Hello,
yeah.
My name is Barbara. I mean, what?
Jim, some people could have been turned off by that kind of directness. You were not. That was attractive to you, right?
Very.
Was. Why?
Yeah.
Why?
No, it was instant. It was like a wand went bing, uh-oh, you're screwed.
Her story is a powerful reminder, especially for women. Love is not about deadlines. It's not about making it happen in time. It's not about too late. Sometimes it comes when you stop looking for validation in someone else and you're truly ready for a real partnership. I created my fitness app Wispence to make a healthy lifestyle accessible to everyone. Inside the app you'll find a wide range of workout programs, balanced nutrition plans created by certified nutritionists, audio meditations to support your mental well-being, and detailed progress tracking to help you stay motivated and to see real results. We focused on simplicity and ease of use, so everything you need to stay healthy and in great shape is always right at your fingertips. To download Wispence, follow the link below this video. Conventional beauty is not a guarantee of success. When Barbra Streisand was starting out, the standard of female beauty was already firmly established. It was embodied by Audrey Hepburn, Marilyn Monroe, Elizabeth Taylor, Grace Kelly, women who had recently been at the peak of fame and were visually icons of the era. This was the ideal woman image that Barbara was compared to when she first entered the spotlight. Against this backdrop, Barbara looked different. Agents and casting directors would tell her straight out, "You're too specific for movies. Your face doesn't fit the standard." She was offered surgery on her nose, makeup softened for the camera, and guidance to how to fit the mold. She could have done it, but she didn't. She refused to change herself. And in the end, it wasn't she who adapted to the camera. The camera learned to work with her. Even more, what was once criticized later became trendy and copied by others. Her style, her way of dressing, her ironic approach to her own image, all of it became a new standard. Barbra embraced her Jewish heritage, never hid her accent, and never apologized by being herself. She turned her unconventional qualities into magnetism, and that's exactly what makes her an icon even today. The lesson is simple: success doesn't come from fitting the standard, it comes from exceeding it. True strength lies in owning your life. Barbra Streisand was never convenient or easy to fit into a mold, and I think that's one of the main reasons for her enormous scale. From the very beginning, she refused to accept the role others tried to assign her: how she should look, what she should sing, how she should behave, what to say, and most importantly, where her place was supposed to be. She was told to sing simpler, less dramatically, less intellectually. She was advised to follow trends, to do what would sell faster, but she stuck to her own vision. She didn't want to be just another singer. She wanted to be herself, and in the end, it was precisely this nonconformity that became her trademark.
Hi. You couldn't walk over here like a person.
I believe you dropped something.
How boring. You'd be surprised how boring it isn't. You know what? If I weren't so refined, I'd beat the crap out of you.
Her behavior in the industry as a whole was telling too. She refused roles or projects if she felt she would be used as an image rather than treated as a person. Because of this, she often seemed difficult to work with. Barbra decided she wouldn't bend to the system. The system would either accept her as she was, or she would create her own rules. She chose her own repertoire. She intervened in arrangements. She controlled the sound, the lighting, and the camera. For her, it wasn't just about going on stage and singing. She wanted to understand exactly what she was conveying. She didn't blindly trust producers or directors because she felt that if she gave her vision to others, it would quickly stop being hers. Can you imagine how frustrating this must have been for people at the time, especially the men in the industry? Your fears don't define you or the direction of your life. One of the things that stuck me most in Barbra Streisand's book is how terrified she was of performing on stage. Not just a little nervous, but truly panicked, physically, mentally, wanting to run away, thinking, what if I can't do this? And the paradox is that the same woman became one of the most famous performers in the world. The fear never went away. It stayed with her for years, but she didn't say, "I'm afraid this isn't for me." She said, "I'm scared, but I still want to do it." Her fear didn't disappear even when she became a superstar. Fame didn't cure it, yet it never stopped her from building her career, stepping on stage again and again, recording albums, performing in front of thousands of people. Here is the key lesson. We often think we need to stop being afraid before we can act, but in real life, it usually happens the other way around. You act first, despite the fear, and over time, the fear either diminishes or stops controlling you. Barbra is a powerful example that fear doesn't define who you are. It doesn't define your talents, your opportunities, or your future. It's just part of the journey. And if you don't let it make your decisions for you, it stops being an obstacle. This really hit me, and it reminded me of an Ukrainian saying, "The eyes are afraid, but the hands keep working." How childhood shapes our relationships. Barbra Streisand didn't have a father. He passed away when she was just a little over a year old. She didn't remember him, didn't know him, and her entire childhood reality was shaped around her mother, a strong woman but emotionally very reserved. Her mother had a beautiful voice and could have pursued a career as a singer, but she didn't. And as often happens, that unfulfilled potential really showed up in her relationship with her child. Barbara writes a lot about how her mother rarely showed affection, didn't say she was proud of her, and didn't provide much emotional warmth. And what's important, even when Barbara became world famous, deep down she was still the little girl waiting for the mother's approval, and she never got it. This is a very honest and painful moment in the book. It shows that success doesn't heal childhood wounds. Performances, awards, money, recognition, they don't replace a single simple sentence from a parent. I love you and I'm proud of you. Barbara has one son, Jason. She writes that she loves him, accepts him, and is proud of him. I believe that's true, but at the same time, the book hints at some distance. There isn't as much written about her son as you might expect from a 900-page memoir. That's just my subjective feeling as a reader. I think there is a simple pattern here. If you weren't taught emotional closeness as a child, it can be very hard to recreate it, even when you truly love someone.
She didn't seem very affectionate to you.
Well, she didn't believe in it. I said, Mom, how come you don't ever, like, hug me? Or say the words, I love you? And she said, you know, my mother and father, they never hugged me, but I knew they loved me. Now I said, well, I didn't know you loved me.
This isn't about bad mothers or bad children, it's about patterns we inherit, about how we carry our experiences forward, sometimes unconsciously. And for me, the main lesson is this: understanding your childhood isn't about finding someone to blame. It's a chance not to repeat what once hurt you. And to do that, you often need to work through it consciously, preferably with a professional psychologist or reading a psychology book about this situation. The law of compensation and love. In life, the law of compensation often applies. Barbra Streisand was never considered as a classic beauty by the standards of her time, but she was talented, charismatic, smart, and had an unmatched sense of humor. And she tended to choose very attractive men, those who at first glance were impressed with their looks. Even successful, vibrant people have unresolved issues that push them toward a certain type of partner, and often these choices don't guarantee happiness. There is nothing wrong with wanting an attractive partner, but when physical attractiveness becomes the only criteria, it pushes out the things that truly matter: emotional compatibility, shared values, mutual support. And then life brings challenges, unmet expectations, difficult circumstances, conflicts. This makes it clear that beauty alone doesn't create a happy relationship.
You have a very impressive dating roster, if I may say. I am bowing down to you. There's Prime Minister Pierre Trudeau. There's Don Johnson. There's Ryan O'Neill. There's Andre Agassi. I know, I'd laugh too if I had all those guys. So I would like to
Listen,
know.
I didn't want to write about any of them.
But you did.
My editor said, you have to leave some blood on the page. I said,
Listen, I like knowing that Barbara had a very nice dating roster. I like that myself. Did you have a good time?
with the men in my life, yes.
The lesson is simple. Recognizing your unresolved patterns allows you to make different choices, not based on look, but on compatibility and shared values. The Barbra Streisand effect. Why bands often backfire. You've probably heard of the Barbra Streisand effect, but here is a quick reminder of what it is. In the early 2000s, Barbara filed a lawsuit to remove a photo of her house from the internet, a photo taken without her permission. She wanted privacy, quiet, peace, but the exact opposite happened. Before the lawsuit, almost no one had seen the photo. After the lawsuit, the whole world knew about it. Here is the main idea. When you try to hide, forbid, or strictly control something, you automatically draw even more attention to it. It doesn't just apply to the media, it applies to people, to feelings, to the truth about yourself. The more you try not to think about something, the louder it echoes inside. The more you try to look perfect, the more obvious your cracks become. The more you forbid yourself from being yourself, the more it betrays you from within. And here is a paradox. Acceptance works better than control. When you stop hiding, tension disappears. When you stop over-explaining, people lose interest. Sometimes the best way to neutralize something is to stop fighting it. Women can do anything. Even today, we sometimes forget how much we are capable of, how we can move the world, reach incredible heights in any field, be independent and self-sufficient. Barbra Streisand is a brilliant example of this. She isn't just a legendary singer and actress. She was also the first woman to direct her own film in Hollywood. Her directorial debut was Yentl, a film she was not only directed, but also starred in. This was a whole new level of control over her career. She chose the story, the style, the music, the cast, and proved that a woman can lead a project completely on her own. For that time, it was incredibly progressive and inspiring. For this film, Barbra won a Golden Globe for Best Director, one of the very first awards of this level given to a female director in Hollywood. She showed that a woman can be the author of her own life and the creator of what she brings to the screen. Nothing is impossible if you're willing to take responsibility and fight for your vision.
I love directing.
Tell us why.
Well, because it's a complete vision. You know, it just calls on every aspect of yourself. Decorating, you know, visualizing, helping actors achieve a performance that I have in my mind for them.
Thank you so much for watching this video. If you found it interesting, give it a like and subscribe to the channel. I'll be back soon with more inspiring stories and motivation. So stay tuned, there is a lot of exciting content ahead.